In today's episode, I'm gonna channel my inner auctioneer and speedrun you through this classic movie, and hopefully in record time.
Let's get ready. Switch me on.
Ready? Get her!
So, we're kicking the show off with Ghostbusters, and why? Because technically, it's a movie about nothing. Now, I know that you're thinking, what the f***? How does that even work? And we're gonna get into it. But first, Ghostbusters was released in 1984 and was written by the great Harold Ramis and directed by the equally great Ivan Reitman. It follows 4 New York City residents that just lost their jobs as educators in the field of paranormal studies at a local university. They were wasting school funding and being generally problematic.
What has that got to do with it?
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
These gents are played by Bill Murray as Pete Venkman, Harold Ramis as Egon Spengler, Ernie Hudson as Winston Zedmore, and of course Dan Aykroyd as Ray Stantz. Our boys, being jobless and broke, decide to get into the freelance extermination business, but instead of roaches and spiders, they're taking out ghouls and ghosts.
Hey, anybody see a ghost?
Which reminds me, even if you haven't seen this movie, you've definitely heard the theme song. Now, where were we?
I don't know.
When a beautiful local musician named Dana, played by Sigourney Weaver, hires the Ghostbusters to help her rid an evil apparition from her apartment, they're in for a hilarious side gig full of wacky ghosts, iconic moments, and of course, some deeply unique new experiences.
That's a big Twinkie.
The characters start off as a brain, a witty straight man, a true believer with full confidence in the work, and then there's Winston, who just wants a paycheck.
If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say.
I feel you, brother. By the end of the film, these guys haven't actually changed at all. See, this film doesn't have the traditional hero's journey or much character development at all for that matter, and this is very much considered to be a movie about nothing. Like, the world we live in at the beginning isn't much different from the world that we end in, despite all of these insane circumstances, but I think that that's okay. It still does what a movie should do, and that would be to entertain me for a few hours and leave me happy, and this movie does just that. There's no deeper conflict or themes to relate to other than just being an average Joe with little to no skills in anything other than your personal interests and the struggle of monetizing and making a living doing it. But in a way, I think all movies are kind of about that very thing in one way or another, but that's a topic for another video.
We got one!
Now, if you've missed out on any of this movie's iconic scenes, then I genuinely think that you're missing out. But don't worry, because I've got you covered.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Did you see it?
Slimer's introduction scene is brilliant and actually very technical, which I think speaks to the overall direction of this movie. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man scene is easily my favorite scene in the film and will undoubtedly bring a nice and marshmallowy smile to your face.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
But the MVP of any movie that he's in, we can't forget my main man, Rick Moranis, who is genius as usual in this movie.
Okay, who brought the dog?
After the Ghostbusters save the day, they're ready to take their place in New York as the city's new saviors. And if you're wondering how that works out for our guys, well, we don't know. The story is still going.
Let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown.
Guys, that is Ghostbusters in 5 minutes or less. And you know what? I gotta say, if you haven't checked this one out in a while, pop it in and enjoy. I will see you next week for another episode, but in the meantime, make sure you're subscribed, leave a like, and all of that jazz. Okay, the timer's up. Bye-bye.
Well, that wasn't such a chore now, was it?